Welcome to the official YouTube channel of Eternia.com. I'm your host AJ, and today we're doing an unboxing and a mini review of the Masterverse Masters of the Universe Revelation Wave 10 Skeletor figure, otherwise known as Horde Skeletor. Now this is going to get a little confusing, but this is supposed to be the 7th Skeletor in the Masterverse figure line. Now, we're not counting Skelegod. If we were counting Skelegod, it would be the 8th figure, but we're strictly counting Skeletors. And this one is supposed to be the 7th. Now, why I'm saying it's supposed to be is the previous wave, Wave 9, there was a Skeletor from the New Adventures subline, but that figure has still yet to be released. So technically, as I'm recording this video, there's only 6 Skeletors. This would be the 6th one. But when all things are said and done, and all these figures are in the history book, this will be remembered as the 7th Skeletor from Wave 10 to be released in the Masterverse line. Now let's talk about that name Skeletor for a second, because this really gets me crazy. We have a 7th figure just called Skeletor. For some reason, Mattel, Masterverse, they refuse to actually put the name Horde Skeletor on the box. Now, this would be a lot less confusing for collectors if we actually saw the name. Like the new Eternia Skeletor, it's not called Barbarian Skeletor in the box, it's just called Skeletor. We have just Skeletor from Revelation, Skeletor from the kids show, Skeletor from 40th Anniversary, Skeletor from the movie, 8 Skeletors if you count Virgil Abloh's, Skeletor from New Adventures, and now we have Skeletor again from Revelation. His nickname is Horde Skeletor, but for some reason they refuse to put it anywhere in the box. I've asked Mattel about this. I've asked the art director, Roy. He won't respond to me. I really don't know why. It's really confusing for collectors to keep track as Masterverse grows and grows. But for some reason, they're doing this. Maybe it's easier to market the name Skeletor than subnames when you're dealing with retailers. I don't know, but it's going to get more and more confusing. But I guess it is what it is. All right, so let's talk this release. I've been looking forward to this Revelation Skeletor 2.0, aka Horde Skeletor, for a long time. It was over a year ago where I did a top 30 wish list for the Revelation subline, and Horde Skeletor was my number 20. But Horde Skeletor, it's in that nickname, right? He's part of the Horde, and that's why I have Hordak out here. And the reason why I have Eva Lynn out here is, if you remember in the Masters of the Universe Revelation cartoon, we saw Horde Skeletor briefly in the cartoon, and this is when Eva Lynn was much younger. She wasn't Eva Lynn, she was just Lynn. And she was living in these Elysium slums. You know, she was living in the gutter and living her life as a pickpocket. And she pickpocketed some rich guy in the streets, and their thugs chased her, and she was caught in the alley and looked like it was it for her. And suddenly this big portal opened up, and there was this magnificent Horde Skeletor stepping through. And he blasted the criminals, they ran off, and he saved her. And he brought her into the portal, and he gave her this wand, and he taught her magic. And this is why Lynn always felt like she owed Skeletor. And it's really a fantastic dynamic. And I really hope that we get to see more of this in the sequel series. But first, let's take a look at the packaging. Behold, the packaging of the evil Lord of Destruction, the Revelation Skeletor 2.0, otherwise known as Horde Skeletor. Now first, let's check out this great Masterverse artwork. This time, the artist responsible is Simon Eckert, and I think he's really done a fantastic job here. If we look at the spine, there is Horde Skeletor, and it looks like he is casting some sort of fire spell in one hand, and he's holding the Havoc Staff in another. And does that look like the Fright Zone in the back? You see the steps and the tree? That might be the Fright Zone, I think. And then on the back of the packaging, behold, there's the Horde Skeletor walking through one of his portals, just like we saw in Masters of the Universe Revelation. And how awesome is that? I'm only going to give you a brief snapshot of the bio. There's no need to actually read through it again because we already went through the story in the beginning of this video. And this bio actually doesn't add any new details to that story. So now that you've seen the bio, it's time to get this figure out of the box and take a closer look. So here is the Masterverse Revelation Skeletor 2.0 out of the box and in 360 degrees. And my first impression is I'm loving the sculpt. I'm not loving the paint. In regards to the paint, and what I saw in the series, Masters of the Universe Revelation, and even in the artwork here, I see some color issues with this figure. You know what? Let me get him down and I can further elaborate. So let's get the paint application out of the way first. I have 3 sets of paint here. I have blue, I have black, and I have yellow. And I have them out to represent color problems on this Horde Skeletor figure. Now, when I start with blue and I look at the skin of Horde Skeletor, I see this purplish violet skin. But in Masters of the Universe Revelation, he had blue skin. Even on the packaging art, the Masterverse packaging art, you see blue skin. But for some reason, on the finished product, we have an incorrect purple. And that's why I brought out the blue. Now, why I brought out the black paint is Horde Skeletor is missing black paint. Now, it needed some black wash. In the promo photos, there was black wash on the belt. There's no black wash here. But you know what? I can live with that. But where it's really missing black paint is on the fingernails and toenails. I love these demon feet. I love the demon hands. But the claws on the demon feet are unpainted, and so are the claws on the demon hands. And if you look at the first Masterverse Revelation Skeletor, they certainly painted those claws, but for some reason they missed it here. And then finally, I have this yellow paint, and of course, you guessed it, the yellow paint is for the face. And just like the first Masterverse Skeletor, they still haven't gotten the color of the skull right. For some reason, they keep missing the mark. It's supposed to be this unique yellow. They got it right on the Mondo Revelation Skeletor figure, but for some reason Masterverse can't find the correct paint color, and it looks like, at least to me, that they keep messing it up. All right, so enough complaining about the paint. Let's take a closer look at that head sculpt. So here's a closer look at the Horde Skeletor head sculpt, and I think this is a great head sculpt. The sculptor on this was Phil Ramirez, and it was maybe, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I took to social media, and I was just overjoyed how this head sculpt really captured the look of Skeletor that we saw in Masters of the Universe Revelation. I mean, it was a great recreation of what we saw in that cartoon, and a lot better than the first Revelation Skeletor that we got in Masterverse. So I'm definitely very excited about this sculpt. Now, regarding the hood, this is actually plastic. It's hard plastic. It's great sculpting. It looks like you see the texture here. It looks like fabric, but it's not fabric. It can't be removed, but it's just all one piece. But what a great piece it is, right? So taking a closer look at the Horde Skeletor outfit, and they do a real nice job here. They can trick you, not just on the hood, but on the material hanging from the belt. It looks like material, right? It looks like, it looks like fabric the way they sculpted it here. But this is actually plastic. This is soft, flexible plastic. So the only thing that truly is material, soft goods, is Skeletor's cloak. And I think we can remove the cloak here. It looks like it's held together by Velcro. Is it 2 pieces here? Yeah, you just peel back. Man, it's stuck under there. Okay. Actually, it looks like we have to remove the head. Is that true? Yeah, you have to pop off the head. You lift it off the neck and then place back the head. So if you don't want to display your Horde Skeletor with the cloak, you can remove it like so. So in regards to accessories, Horde Skeletor comes with 2 punching hands, 2 closed fist hands. He comes with what we looked at already, his black soft goods cape. And then he comes with this very interesting red Havoc staff. It's got this red-orange ram head. It almost looks like blood in color. And to some degree, it looks translucent. And it's got this interesting black wash about it. And I'm not sure the story behind this ram head and this Havoc staff, this version of it. I mean, we certainly didn't see a Havoc staff with Horde Skeletor in Masters of the Universe Revelation. And we did see a Havoc staff with this particular Skeletor in the prequel comics, but that actually was a ram head from an enemy of Skeletor's. It was one of Skeletor's captors, one of his enslavers from his dimension. And he actually severed his enemy's head, put it on the staff, and then Hordak charged it up with power. It was really an awesome origin for his Havoc staff, but I'm really not sure what this comes from. Maybe this is going to be something we're going to see in Masters of the Universe Revolution. I guess we'll find out. So I wanted to end this video with a comparison between the two Skeletors from the Masters of the Universe Revelation subline. On the left, we have the Skeletor from Wave 1, and on the right, we have the Skeletor we're reviewing now from Wave 10. And to start out, they're pretty much the same body. This is all pretty much the same sculpt, except for the head sculpts and the belts and what's hanging from underneath. Everything else, the feet, the ankle armor, the legs, the arms, the chest, torso, everything else, the Havoc staffs are the same sculpt. So what are the improvements here? Well, obviously the head sculpt is improvement. Not necessarily the paint app for it, but I was never a fan of the Wave 1 Skeletor's head sculpt. They really did a great job with the Horde Skeletor head sculpt. I mean, this really looks like it came from the cartoon. So this is a dramatic improvement. And I think some of the paint apps on the armor have improved on the Horde Skeletor compared to the Wave 1. There's a little more attention to detail, also on the shin armor as well. But, you know, with one step forward, we're taking 2 steps back, right? We're missing paint on the feet here. We don't have the black claws on the new Wave 10 figure like we did on the first. And same thing with the hands. No black claws. And some of this, like, failed armor has stayed the same. You know, this armor was always a weird design where it was like 2 pieces, and I never understood why. And it never fit together correctly. And the new Skeletor still has that same flawed armor. It looks like it's glued on maybe, but it's still 2 pieces. If you look, it's still 2 pieces and it's still lifting up, and it's really not a great design. So there's really not a dramatic improvement between the two, except for the head sculpt. So do I like this Masterverse Revelation Horde Skeletor overall? Yes, I do. Do I think it's an improvement over the Wave 1 Revelation Skeletor? Yes, I do. But do I think it's a terrific Revelation Skeletor? Almost. We're not there yet. With some improvements, I think we can get there, which really makes me excited over the new Revolution subline that is coming out in 2024. And perhaps then we'll finally get our perfect Skeletor from this Revolution Revelation series. Well, that's it. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.